Hello, this is Manesh Patel from the EII Capital Group. This is our weekly Ichimoku analysis for the currency market. Today is June 4th, 2011. Normal disclaimer, this is for educational use only. All charts are either in Thinkorswim, TradeStation, or freestockcharts.com. Here are my contact details. You can follow us on ichimokutrade.com where you can access any of our free videos. Also, you can follow us on Twitter here at Ichimoku Trading. Okay. So let's begin. Let's go start looking at the heat map. The heat map is kind of like a glorified scanner. D0 is what we're looking at, which is the current Ichimoku rating for the daily time frame for today. D5 is the Ichimoku rating for the daily time frame from 5 days ago. W0 is the Ichimoku rating for now, this week, and W1 is the Ichimoku rating from 1 week ago. Excuse me. What we're looking for is basically 5 to 8 being bullish, where 5 is kind of like where you need to start looking at it, and 8 is extreme bullish, and then -5 to -8, where -8 is extreme bearish. So what we're looking for are opportunities that basically got to 5 or -5, and then supported by the weekly time frame, and go from there. As you could see from like the EURUSD, it got more bullish there, but it's still not ready to go. So kind of looking for 5s here in this column. And you could see here, like on the daily time frame, this is +7, that's -6. So you got daily and weekly conflicting with each other, and you really don't want that at all. Here's one. This is -6, and this is that 5. We could look at US yen, but the weekly still not. The weekly kind of got a little stronger, but we could look at that. That's part of our major pairs, anyways. There's nothing there. Here, nothing here. This went the other way, where the yen got a little stronger against New Zealand. If you scroll down, really there's nothing there at all. This got a little weak, which is not good. This one could be an opportunity right here, Australian Switzy. So we're going to definitely look at Australian Switzy, because that looks like the only opportunity out there really right now. Scrolling down, and that's it. So let's go to the charts, and we'll make sure we go back and through Australian Switzy. Now, we're going to go for all the major pairs. Remember, on the left-hand side, basically, is your weekly time frame. On the right-hand side is basically your daily time frame. If you look at the EURUSD, remember we were talking about it last week. It had this resistance level is 44.54. It broke through that. And when it's now up there, so this is bullish trending again. If you look at the daily time frame here, it just crossed above the Cajuns in here, got to the top of the cloud here. Things are still in conflict here as far as the daily is concerned, so we'll probably expect a pullback here. A pullback to about 44.54 would be great, where it pulls back there and then starts going higher. That would be an ideal scenario for the EURUSD. For the pound USD, if you look at the pound USD, still bullish trending as far as the weekly is concerned. Support is basically at this level here. So it's pretty much at support. It's about 20 pips away from support. The first minor support, the major support is basically at 1.6044. If you look at the daily time frame, things are in conflict right now. This really needs to break above here at 65.45 to starting a trend on a daily time frame, which will pretty much be a continuation trend for the weekly to retest the highs. So you know that 65.50 level is kind of key for it to break. If it does, then this thing's definitely going to keep on going higher. Australian USD. If you look at Australian USD, it's still bullish trending as far as the weekly time frame is concerned. On the daily, you now have a consolidation pattern, and really it's in conflict right now. This thing really has got to start breaking above 800 to start trending again to the bullish side, but really nothing there right now. New Zealand USD, bullish trending on both time frames right now. It bounced off its minor support at 8072 yesterday, and it's kind of held, so that's really good. And in fact, New Zealand right now, in 2 days, this thing's got to break for this pivot here. If it doesn't, then this thing's going to sit there and probably go the other way and come down. So it's very critical right now the New Zealand USD kind of take off, and you know, all the momentum is there for it to do that. So the next week's critical for the New Zealand USD. So I definitely look for bullish trades for that one for next week. USCAD. You could see that basically it had an upward movement, came all the way to its major resistance level, 98.26, bounced off that guy. But you know, momentum's kind of weakening now. as this thing's going forward. But still, the weekly is in a bearish trend going downwards, and it's still very, very strong until it breaks 98.26 on a weekly time frame, where it closes above that for the week. If you look at the daily time frame, you can see that big spike up here. That's not really good that it didn't sit there and follow through and close at the highs. However, it didn't close at the lows either, so that's good. So it looks like it's consolidating right now, but this thing does have a bullish tilt to it. So watch for maybe the USCAD maybe trying to go back to par, which will be a pullback for the weekly time frame. Okay, US SWITSI, you could tell from both the daily and the weekly, this is still bearish trending. Resistance levels are 86.11. Nothing really there until it breaks that. US yen, if you look at the weekly time frame, this is now setting up to go bearish even more. There's still some conflicts here, but if you look at the daily time frame, a little push down now, where this thing breaks 79. This is going to sit there and start a trend to the downside, and it may, believe it or not, go all the way back down to 76, which was the bottom of this little spike here before the Japanese government intervened and all the earthquake stuff happened. So be very careful right now. The yen is very strong, and it may continue to be that way moving forward. Only time will tell. Let's go look at Euro Pound. Euro Pound, you could see on the weekly time frame, it was bullish trending. It pulled back. It's now starting to resume its bullish trending trend. Little weak. It still needs a little more upward movement. And if you look at the daily time frame, you can see things are in conflict. A little pullback right now to about 88.25. Hold there and then start going higher. This thing's going to start trending on both time frames. So whether euro will get stronger compared to the pound. Let's go look at Australian SWITSI, which was on our charts. Excuse me. If you look at the weekly time frame right now, you could see that it had a huge movement down. Right now, there's still some things out of equilibrium here, so you may get a little pullback up this week or consolidation pattern this week, and maybe next week it starts going down. You can see from the daily time frame there was a huge movement down last week, which was big movement going down. And you could see that momentum is there. However, it definitely needs a pullback now before it retests this low. If it does, then that'll be good, where it could break this low. However, if it kind of extends itself Sunday or Monday, comes down here, and then it'll probably be a double bottom here. So if it does a pullback right now, then it may get some momentum to break right through this double bottom right away and keep on going. There's nothing really else out there, so one other pair we'll check is Australia and New Zealand. If you look at Australia and New Zealand, really nothing there as far as the weekly is concerned. It's just consolidating. Resistance levels at 1.3313. You could see from the daily time frame it's bearish. Came up here, it's pulled back. Ideally, as we said, if it could pull back to 1.3313 and stop there and then go down, it'll be very, very strong moving forward. That's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Speak to you next week.